It is the car that everyone is talking about and pointing and smiling when they see one. But how does the Renault 5 E-Tech live up to the hype? Is it all style and no substance? I personally love the fact it's stayed faithful to the 2021 concept car, which harks back to the original Renault 5 that sold over 5.5 million units across 5 continents from 1972 to 1985. And I think the styling brings a welcome sparkle to the world of EVs. The wheel arches and standard 18-inch alloys that sit flush with the bodywork, together with the vertical rear red lights and iconic pop green hue, bring to mind the original car that some of us of a certain age know and love. Whilst its stance, square daytime running lights in the bumper and roof spoiler are all very reminiscent of the Renault 5 Turbo. Pop yellow, also present from the 1970s catalogue, is available too, together with Arctic white, diamond black and midnight blue. What has changed to keep up with the times is the vent grille, which now features a charge indicator in the form of a number 5, and when the driver approaches the vehicle, it lights up. You're also treated to a welcome sequence from the LED headlights, which wink at the driver as they approach. Also absent from the original Renault 5, but very much present for this one, are the aerodynamic features, including the streamlined glass, which is placed over the rear lights to optimise airflow. Unlike the Ford Capri, the designers of this car have nailed the brief, creating the perfect balance between old and new. Did you know that the original 5 was the first car to achieve fuel consumption below the symbolic 5 litres per 100 kilometres at 90 kilometres an hour? Or, to put it in English, 56 miles per gallon at 56 miles per hour? No, neither did I. Now that was a pretty good efficiency rating for a car back then. So what about the new one? Well, the Comfort Range battery offers a capacity of 52 kilowatt hours, providing a driving range of up to 250 miles, whilst the Urban Range battery, with a capacity of 40 kilowatt hours, has a driving range of 190 miles. This means they have an energy consumption of 4.8 and 4.7 miles respectively, which is considered very efficient. You can expect that range to drop, of course, in colder weather and on the motorway, but even then it's still comparable with its rivals. Whilst I'm throwing out random fun facts, did you also know that in 1974, Renault collaborated with EDF to produce an electric version of the Renault 5? It was primarily intended for testing and evaluation and featured a stripped down design with the rear seats removed to accommodate the lead acid batteries. It had a limited range of 100 miles and a 10-hour charging time. I'm pleased to say that things have improved somewhat over the last 50 years. Today, you can opt for the 150 horsepower powertrain, which is shared across 3 of the 4 versions available, or the 120 horsepower powertrain available on the entry-level trim, but not the highest specification model. And both versions will rapid charge from 10 to 80% in approximately 30 minutes. The motors, by the way, are a development of those found in the electric Renault Megane and Scenic, but they're smaller and lighter since they don't need to be as powerful. And the battery consists of just 4 modules in the larger pack and 3 in the smaller one, so they can be removed separately for repair or replacement rather than requiring the whole pack to be replaced. Pretty clever stuff. Now, what you really want to know, how much does it cost? Well, prices start just below £23,000 and top out at just shy of £30,000. We've got the Techno, which is pretty well equipped and costs £26,995. The Renault 5 E-Tech is the first car to be built on the AMP-R, the new small car platform developed to showcase its design with no trades-off in performance or dynamics. Plus, it cuts costs by sharing a number of parts with a CMF-B platform. Let me explain. It further optimises the front suspension with a steering system that has a very short gear ratio to make it agile on the B roads, and a turning circle of just 10.3 metres means it makes light work of city driving. Particular emphasis was placed on damping in order to absorb the extra weight from the battery, and it shows. The rear suspension features multi-link geometry, normally reserved for more expensive vehicles. This means it feels generally pretty settled. In fact, of all the small EVs we've driven so far, this definitely has the most well-sorted chassis. It manages to be both comfortable and engaging at the same time. The steering is light but progressive and weighs up nicely in sport mode, and with little body roll, it's a joy to drive around B roads. The drive modes are changed via a button here in a similar place to the Porsche Taycan, but instead of drive modes, they call it multi-sense. It's French, isn't it? Being under 4 metres in length and weighing 1,450 kilograms, it feels pretty nimble, despite the fact it does take just under 8 seconds to reach 62 miles per hour from zero. But you've got to remember, this isn't a hot hatch. That's the job of the Alpine A290 to fulfill. There's also a new one-box system that basically groups braking and ESP functions in the same module to reduce the space needed under the bonnet. But more importantly, halves the time of the automatic emergency braking system. At the same time, the decoupled braking system delivers a consistently strong pedal feel, and the switch between regen braking and hydraulic braking is pretty much seamless. Interestingly, the brake pedal isn't connected to the calipers, but to an ECU that prioritises energy recovery before switching to the braking system. The driver can also use the gear selector up here, remember, not here, where you would think it would be because that's the wipers, to switch to B mode, which increases brake regen. I'm also pleased to report that it has a heat pump as standard, not something all EVs have, as well as bi-directional charging, vehicle-to-grid capability, and vehicle-to-load technology. The original 5 also marked the beginnings of eco-design, with a roof made from bonded natural fibres, and the new one takes things a step further, with 22% of the materials used recycled. Talking of roofs, I love the lining here, which is like a waffle effect, also replicated in the new Nissan Micra. The dashboard combines the most outstanding features of several generations of Renault 5. From this 2-tier structure that faces the passenger, part of which is fabric and double stitched, to this rectangular instrument display with its rounded edges. The same attention to detail can be seen in the design of the air vents, which borrow the same 4-corner motif as the headlights and fogs. The seats are inspired by the iconic Renault 5 Turbo, with its H-shaped design element offering a cocoon effect, and extremely innovative back in the 70s and 80s. I love this denim-like upholstery, which is used on the seats, the dash and the door cards, and they're made from salvaged plastic bottles. The Renault 5 E-Tech might be one of the most affordable EVs on the market, but the tech inside is surprisingly advanced. Let's dive into the dual horizontal screen. It is powered by the OpenR Link system with Google built in for the Techno and Iconic 5 trim levels, and has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay wireless smartphone compatibility. It's intuitive, quick to respond, and the graphics are modern and sharp. There are hidden physical buttons on top of the screen's housing for volume, and a shortcut that brings up the option of turning off your screen at night. I'm delighted to say there's proper physical switches for the aircon, and there's a digital driver's readout for the speed and other important information. Now, the main advantage of this is the electric vehicle capabilities in Google Maps. It provides an estimated battery level upon arrival at the destination, suggests charging stops along the way, and calculates how long charging might take. Drivers can also choose charging points based on the power ratings and payment method. When a driver selects a charging station, Google Maps will automatically factor in battery preconditioning for optimised charging and route planning. And via the Google Play catalogue, Renault 5 E-Tech includes a range of over 50 apps, some of which are specifically for the brand vehicles as part of targeted partnerships. You can listen to music, learn about the history of the surrounding area or local tourist attractions, catch up on sport and news, have fun or watch a film when the vehicle is charging. This is Renault, a new virtual travelling companion. Why do you remind me of Microsoft Paperclip?
I'm flattered you see the connection. Like Microsoft Paperclip, I'm here to assist you with a friendly approach. I aim to make your experience enjoyable and engaging while providing practical help.
For those who are new to EVs, she may prove particularly useful as she's able to answer all sorts of questions and take practical action. For example, you could ask, "Hey Renault, schedule a charge for 8 AM tomorrow."
You have a scheduled charging program for Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay, the program is scheduled.
Scheduled. Or, "Hey Renault, how can I increase the range of my car?"
Use Eco Mode to reduce consumption and increase range. The green Eco zone on the power meter in the dashboard will help you do just that. Try to stay as close as possible to zero during acceleration and energy recovery. To optimize range, use preconditioning programming during charging.
She can also answer 200 questions that have apparently been identified by Renault After Sales as the most frequently asked by customers. Renault can even anticipate users' needs with suggestions to adjust certain vehicle settings to the context. So, for example, closing the windows for better air circulation in a tunnel or switching from sport to eco mode in a traffic jam. Facing the driver is a 10-inch digital instrument panel displaying driving information in full with a choice of 5 different views. Despite being positioned between Clio 2 and Clio 3 in terms of its size, it rivals Clio 5 for interior space with boot capacity of 326 litres, placing the car at the top end of the electric city car segment. A further 19 litres of storage capacity is provided by various compartments around the cabin, and these can be configured and customised using 3D printed accessories, including a baguette holder. Ooh la la! It can even tow a 500 kilogram trailer, which I appreciate is very light, but could be useful for the tip run. I have one complaint. The annoying stalk arrangement on the right hand side. It's so easy to end up wiping the windscreen when actually you just want to go into reverse, and there's no park on the gear shifter like every other EV, just an electronic handbrake. There's a range of driver assistance systems on a par with the best in the next segment up. For example, alongside the driver attention monitoring system, it features automatic emergency braking in reverse, front sensors with emergency lane keeping, rear sensors with emergency lane keeping, and rear occupant safe passenger exit. A new button, My Safety Shield, located here on the left of the steering wheel, lets the driver activate or deactivate the preferred settings for no fewer than 5 ADAS features at the same time. The customised settings made on the multimedia screen include whether to activate the function, to what level, to allow sound alerts, and so on. It is a level 2 ADAS combining intelligent adaptive cruise control with stop and go and lane centering assist. For this last function, the driver can shift towards the side of the road when traffic is moving less than 31 miles per hour in order to leave space for motorbikes and scooters or emergency vehicles, for example. What else? After an impact, the post-accident automatic braking system will automatically lock the vehicle's brakes in the event of a collision, and the Renault 5 E-Tech also has hands-free parking. Then there is the optional safety coach, which objectively assesses the driver's behaviour and provides personalised advice for driving and use of the ADAS to suggest possible improvements. Sounds a bit annoying to me. They say you should never judge a car by its looks, or is that book by its cover? Well, you get the point. And after 24 hours with the Renault 5 E-Tech, I think this is more than an icon reinvented for modern times. Yes, it's pretty cool looking, but it's also fun to drive, great value for money, well built and packed with modern tech. While it has some minor drawbacks, namely being tight on rear space, a lack of frunk, disappointing cruising efficiency and a 4-star NCAP safety rating, Renault has successfully resurrected the Classic 5. This is an extremely compelling electric vehicle and is a worthy contender to the electric Mini Cooper, the Fiat 500e or Gran Panda, Citroën EC3, Peugeot E208, Hyundai Insta or Vauxhall Corsa Electric. Then there's also the MG4 and BYD Dolphin Surf, which have more space but don't look or drive anywhere near as good. This car is a case of all style and substance.